This Snapdragon came up here in the front yard, volunteer, I guess from a plant from last year. Look how thick it is. I'm gonna move it because I am busy creating a Snapdragon area in the backyard because this was my Grandma Kyle's favorite flower. Look at my spiderwort. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I am attempting to turn this garden space right here. There's coreopsis there and hydrangea there. I planted some poppy seeds there that I think are coming up in front of the hydrangea, but from the hydrangea down, I'm hoping to make it into a Snapdragon garden. Right up there is our hammock. So the idea of sitting in the hammock and looking at them would just make me happy. I just transplanted this red one. Now I don't really want red in my garden, but I'm gonna keep it from the front yard because it came up volunteer. I don't remember ever planting a red one recently, but isn't it gorgeous? And then I recently bought this lovely pink one and the white one, which is about done blooming. And I had in my refrigerator for a long time some seeds, and there were different varieties of Snapdragons, and you see they're coming up. They were planted quite some time ago. Look at, there's a little patch. There's little patches everywhere. So this was one kind of Snapdragon. I think maybe these were from the dollar store. And this kind says dwarf Kimmery mix. So I don't know if that's this little bit here or if those are also Snapdragons. They look like they could be. See, there's some over there. So I'm going to have to be dividing all these little piles later on. My hope is that all of the Snapdragons in this area will self-seed after I get some in here that I really like. The Snapdragons are also known as a dragon flower. The scientific name is Antirrhinum majus, and the name Antirrhinum is from Greek words anti for like and rhis for nose or snout, which goes right along with the snout of a dragon. Now they are in the plantain family, the Plantagenaceae, and that makes me think of a banana. There's some plantains that are tropical bananas. Well, all bananas are tropical, but it's not related. They're not related. So Snapdragons were my Grandma Giles' favorite flower, and I remember walking around her beds in her yard and her showing me how to make them talk. Although Snapdragons were her favorite garden flower, the gardenia was her favorite corsage flower. She always loved the smell of it, but I think it's too perfumey for me. But I do love the Snapdragons, just like her. It seems the common name is as such because the flowers look like dragons that talk, but I never have seen it as a dragon, but I suppose it could be. I have read it called a two-lipped, like your lips, two-lipped dragon flowers, and that just makes me laugh. It also makes me laugh to consider that these flowers snap at people. Just rather than to speak in a gentle voice, they snap at you. They must really have something to say. Or maybe the dragons are snapping a bite out of you. No, not really. So let's look at how they snap. So if you grab both sides of them, you can go like this and they'll talk. And you can say, "Hello, how are you today?" Or you can snap at them. Snap, 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 snap. I'm angry. Let's see if this one will work. You see they have a yellow thing down inside. Oh, a bug come out of there. Snap, 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 snap. Oh, here's a good one. "Hello, how are you today?" Do you think that this looks like a dragon's nose or a snout? "Hello, how are you today?" These red ones actually have some lovely lighter color on the underside. Snapdragons are annuals that are purchased in nurseries or started by seed, and they like full sun, although I just did kind of put them under a tree. They tolerate drought, which is awesome, and they benefit by deadheading to encourage the blooms. And I recently saw something that said you need to deadhead them before they get like this. So I'm going to be getting my scissors and cutting these back, probably down to here. I don't know if these top ones are going to open up. But before the top ones open up, you're supposed to cut them off. They make great cut flowers. And that's supposed to keep them blooming. If you don't cut them soon enough, apparently they won't bloom. But I don't know if that's true. That's something I just saw. Flower colors include white, yellow, orange, red, purple, pink, and multicolor. Now I like the multicolored best because they kind of like the red ones with the yellow inside. They make for a better snapping talk. Now here's something new to me, and I'm trying to get more intentional. There are different heights for, as you can see, for the snapdragons. The 6 to 9 inch ones are considered dwarf. As I said, I planted some dwarf seeds over here. I tried when I was shopping to buy the shorter ones, but the shorter ones I don't think are going to be as good of a cut flower as the taller varieties. So 6 to 9 inches is dwarf. 9 to 12 is considered short varieties. 12 to 24 inches high are intermediate varieties. And the tall varieties are 12 to 36 inches high. So let's see what we got here. I brought my measuring tape. These are about 8.5 inches tall, maybe 9 inches tall. I thought they looked really tall when I got them in the store, but I'm glad that they're the short ones. They would be in the dwarf category unless they somehow get taller now that they're out of their containers. And I measured this tallest one here, and it's 22 inches, which actually, I'm surprised, puts it in the intermediate variety. The tall varieties are 24. The intermediate are 12 to 24. 12 inches is a big jump. So that one to me is really tall, but that would make a great cut flower. The flowers are not toxic, which is great since I've got little doggies bouncing around the yard. Here she comes. As I mentioned, the snapdragons can reseed and come back year after year. And here you go. I learned a new word. I love learning new words. The cup, or the corolla, is zygomorphic. Zygomorphic. Zygomorphic is just kind of fun to say. It means that the cup is symmetric. Or, in other words, it mirrors each side on a line or an axis or a plane, depending on which description that you read. The alternative is a actinomorphic, I don't know if I said that right, flower, which has a radial symmetry. That being the plane or axis is in different directions, like the hands on a clock move in different directions. And so a actinomorphic flower has multiple mirrored sections, whereas your zygomorphic, which is this, has just one mirrored section. And then, to review from elementary school, an asymmetric is when the flower is not mirrored in any directions. So let's look. So you can see, if you draw a line down the middle of this flower, it is the same on both sides. Let's look at this big one again. So you can see it is mirrored on both sides. Even if you open it up, it's the same on both sides. So that would be a zygomorphic flower. I read that there's a new variety called Candy Showers, which is a trailing flower that's great for hanging baskets and containers. So I made a note of that because I think that would be super fun to have something new like that. Now, I'm not sure, but I think, as I said before, the seeds required like a cold stratification, I think is what they call it. So that's why I put the seeds on a paper towel and put them in the refrigerator for a while. But technically the easiest way to do it is to seed these in the winter, or let them drop off the plants and let them be there all winter till the next year, and they'll naturally get that cold stratification.